And I believe there are at least two important challenges facing Taiwan's higher education over the next decade. The first is internationalization, and the other is academia-industry collaboration. Our universities should do their best to prepare their students for global competitive employment markets and to enhance their graduates' global mobility for successful careers. We believe that mutually beneficial partnership between universities and industries will be a major driving force for changes in Taiwan's higher education in the coming decade. National Cheng Kung University, under the understanding leadership of President Hui Zhenshu, has become a benchmark for Taiwan's universities in terms of academia-industry collaboration.
I always believe university is a lighthouse for the society. Along with that, human capital or talent is where the powerhouse to drive the innovation. I believe the capacity, the ability to continue explore the future, to imagine how the future can be laid out, maybe it's a way to guide yourself to better identify what kind of skills, what kind of knowledge, what kind of mentality you should prepare for the coming decades. We hope that our students can be better in being more fearless in the face of changing. They will be daring to take the next step. They will be more effectively in trying out the error, then re-engage, reset, think, rethink, and move on through the knowledge and through the support they have in the system. But I like to think that curiosity is an ability to gaze into the unknown from a positive perspective. That's how we all need to prepare and need to maintain these days and make sure it's a positive perspective. The global competency these days is not only about the linguistic competency. It should go beyond a cultural understanding. It should be something, an attitude to embrace all. It would be also inquiring an idea, a mindset, and a value to be inclusive and to be set at a global platform. University continue to be a place to pursue the truth, continue to be the area to cultivate our future talents. And we like to think that we continue to carry a fundamental role in delivering social and economic development possibility.
In terms of cultivating international talent. So one of our objectives is to create stronger, more inclusive, and globally connected higher education systems. The second objective that I'd like to talk about, which very much supports the first, is improving standards of the teaching, learning, and assessment of English if we're going to come up with the solutions to the global challenges that we face. The roadmap has 6 guiding principles that endeavour to do just that. Greater inclusion, academic freedom, creativity, integrity, sustainability, and cooperation. Instead, we need meaningful engagement with all stakeholders, students, parents, educators, policymakers, and business leaders to identify or reconnect with our strengths and our successes, and then use these as the foundation on which to visualize and then deliver the future that we have envisioned. The growth around the world in bilingual or English medium education has been rapid and substantial over the past few decades. English medium education is where education institutions in places where English isn't the first language, like Taiwan, use English as the language of teaching and learning. And the UK is delighted to be able to play a role in supporting the Ministry of Education and higher education institutions in Taiwan in their ambition to deliver high-quality English medium education.
In my view, Taiwan must continue to embrace globalization and increase international collaboration. Education collaboration with countries like Canada should continue to be a high priority for Taiwan, offering bright and ambitious Taiwanese an opportunity to learn and work abroad while ensuring they have opportunities to be creative and entrepreneurial when they return is the Taiwanese formula. And of course, while there are many who are able to obtain an education, not everyone is in the position to do so. And so another way to cultivate internationalized talent is to help them learn a foreign language. Happily, the Global Research and Industry Alliance Program of National Changgang University has since 2019 collaborated on 2 MyTax programs, which could facilitate up to 200 students each year to do research internships between academic institutions and industry partners in Canada and Taiwan. Let me conclude by saying, Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Let's continue to work together to change the world.
Traditionally, Taiwanese students like to study abroad, to proceed a further degree, master's degree, PhD abroad. So we see constantly outflow of students leaving the country, being pretty stable. At the same time, Taiwan was extremely successful within the last 15 years in attracting international students. There was new policies, very good policies, and the number of international students increased within very short period of time. In 2019, 11% of the students in Taiwan were international students. So a large proportion of the students, of the persons you train at your campuses. Amongst them, slightly less than 50% were degree students. So majority is actually enrolled in language programs and exchange programs. And especially these students have problems to actually re-entering the country currently. I would say the most important aspect of international campus life and academic life. You really should try to immerse these students in the local internationalization endeavors. Talented international students can enter the Taiwanese job market. I think that's an aspect which is still far too little considered and too little supported currently. And international students are a very strong asset in increasing your soft power, to increase your soft power strategy on a global scale. How to make best use of these potentials international students bring to Taiwan. Step 1, bring them back. We saw a drastic decrease in international students within the last 2 years. And even now, policies still did not completely open up. So there, things could be improved. Stay in contact with your international alumni. I was pretty surprised to find out that actually most Taiwanese universities do not really have projects for their international alumni. These are really, really good assets for your marketing, for example. They are much more efficient than any other attendance of international fairs or conferences. They locally can attract the next generation of international students to re-enter your country and to study there.
Recently, we encourage university to assist industry in R&D and the technology innovation, so that we can minimize the gap between education and the industry. So the academia industry collaboration has been contributing to the rapid technological advancement of Taiwan world-leading high-tech industry. At the present, I think in response to the problem of brain drain in Taiwan, international education and collaboration can be the key solution, for which the Ministry of Education, we offer several types of scholarship and subsidies program for our university, such as Bilingual Policy 2030, and also have the other higher education sport project and the Yusan scholar program.
Today I'll talk first about some global trends, some mega trends, which we try to keep in our thinking as we plan, what they mean for Taiwan's future, and then what we've been doing to try to help Taiwan in these areas. Each year there are mega trends that different analysts around the world publicize. In 2022, Taiwan, fortunately, is well positioned to address these changes, especially as a global technology leader. I think that's a real advantage that Taiwan has. But of course, like every economy, Taiwan has to figure out how it charts its path from its current strengths to future demands. Some of the challenges that Taiwan is facing are also impacting other economies around the world right now. We've seen changing demographics, aging workforces, labor shortages, which we're feeling in inflation, among other things right now. These are forces that we're really, really feeling. These are not theoretical things. They're things that are impacting our daily lives. How do you retain and develop the talent of the next generation? I just want to focus on what AIT is trying to do to help Taiwan develop the workforce that it needs for the coming years. The major one, which I work with Dr. Lian, is the U.S.-Taiwan Education Initiative, which is targeted at helping Americans understand Taiwan culture and become more familiar with Chinese language skills, which are important for global competitiveness for our side, and also helping Taiwan achieve its goal of becoming a bilingual nation by 2030. Having the right talent, of course, is essential to Taiwan's achieving its policy objectives and internationalizing its workforce. No matter what the industry, it's not enough to have technical know-how. You also have to have connections to the outside world and an awareness of where trends are going.
And I want to make 3 points to you today. The first is that Taiwan, as evidenced in international surveys, is doing a very good job in developing its human capital, but some of its competitors are doing better. Second, Taiwan needs to remain very agile to ensure that its limited pool of talent is deployed to maximize economic returns and ensure Taiwan's high standard of living. And thirdly, the international dimension of Taiwan's talent story will need to grow in all directions to keep pace with the internationalization of business and talent itself. Like New Zealand, Taiwan has a strong education system, as evidenced in many international surveys. In the latest OECD PISA survey of 79 countries, Taiwan came number 5 in maths, number 10 in science, number 16 in reading. Those outcomes provide a strong foundation for learning, but it is well accepted that they are not sufficient in themselves to develop 21st century talent. Changes in society and in work demand more interdisciplinary skills, as well as soft skills like creativity, analysis, entrepreneurship, leadership, and social and global awareness. And sitting above all this, of course, is the shift to digital skills across all domains. But Taiwan needs to ensure its talent pool can continue to generate high-value economic returns in an area of intense international competition. People are Taiwan's most important economic resource, but like land, water, energy, and so forth, they are relatively scarce and getting scarcer as the number of young people continues to. But at the same time, policymakers must also have regard to the sorts of skills that will be needed elsewhere in the economy. So providing citizens with flexible skills and lifelong learning opportunities is going to be an important key for success. Bilingual 2030 policy reflects a desire to make Taiwan friendlier to foreign business and to make Taiwanese more adaptive and competitive overseas.
So the topic today I'm going to share is a future talent to drive innovation. Taiwan semiconductor also holds a critical position in the global economy. It contributes to 20% of the global semiconductor industry. So it tells you, where I come from, where I see the talent movements and challenges are very, very real. Okay. In the last 2 years, something has been keeping me up at night. Okay. It's a talent crunch, talent war. It's a general industry trend, but I flip through How about we look at the financial sectors? How about manufacturing or technology? Result all the same. In the next less than 10 years, this is where we are going to compete. The only talent surplus is India. The rest of it, pick your color, you can yellow or red, orange or red, is severely deficit in our talent market. We did some studies. In the next 10 years, based on all the publicly announced business plans, we are looking at 20% of skilled workers that's needed in the market. But if you add up what we can supply, what they need, we are looking at 85 million talent deficit. That's what we are facing right now. What kind of talent is what I'm invited for? What kind of talents, the qualities we are invited to, we are looking for, okay? The first one is a growth mindset. It's repetitively delivered in multiple technology companies. The second one is collaboration skills. It's called by many speakers. You need to know how to collaborate with people in different backgrounds, have different communication styles. Working with Japanese, working with the US, working with India, require completely different communication skills. You also need to work with people that speak English in totally different accents. So I wanted to encourage all the students, okay? You really have to have the courage to lean in and step up. And it's okay. You're not perfect with what you have right now because you have the growth mindset. It will make you perfect. You don't need to make it perfect at day one. But just ensure every day that you are making yourself better and better. And this is the kind of quality that we are hiring for our future talent. I wanted to propose some ideas how we can make it to really sustainable in success in our future country's development. One is we really have to foster STEM education. The other one is revise the policies to allow part-time workers. I know a lot of HR professionals are in the room right now. There are no more hard stop on the law regulations, labor law regulations. But we have to make it more into the company's policies and to really consider that. Okay, and another one, I wanted to encourage us, I heard it in a lot of speakers' speeches as well, is that we have to come together as a team. Universities go to the overseas recruiting events. Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, India. And then we cooperate not just one company, but multiple companies come along and go there and present and recruiting opportunities. I already see that in US talent market, is that we have to have a DI culture and a flexible work arrangement. What I'm suggesting, I know some of the content is very difficult to have a remote work model. But you can start from, say, hybrid. How about just one day? You can really cluster your work and do one day work from home. Or you can say, you can come in early and then leave early, or come in late and leave late. We have to provide sort of accommodation, flexibilities to really accommodate. And that is something we can do together. We cannot force women to have more kids. It's a bigger problem to tackle. But through those initiatives or programs, we might be able to see some light on this other side of the